Selectboard meeting February 4th to order. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no public participation tonight because at this point there's no public here. Chairman's remarks tonight are going to be given by Chris Howe.
Thank you. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but a lot of people knew Evelyn and Stanley Howe. They lived in Vernon, right across from the fire station, in a red house now. They moved into town in 1956, and he passed in 1989, and she moved out of town in 1993. This Saturday morning, Evelyn passed as well. She will be sorely missed by her family and her friends. Also, Vernon lost another person, Sherry Hardy. I've known Sherry Hardy for 24 years. I knew her children. Her daughter Rebecca and my granddaughter were best friends. It's very sad because that was an accident. That we wish we could have prevented. We could not have. Both of them are soaring with angels today. We will miss them.
Thank you, Chris. Get on to, it's always hard to go on from there, but our sympathy goes out to your family and to the Hardy family. I also knew Sherry, and she was a wonderful, wonderful person with a lot of really great kids, and I know that her kids are feeling pretty hurt today, and our thoughts and prayers are with them all. Okay, approval of minutes. I need a motion for the minutes of January 7th, please.
I move that we accept the minutes of January 7th as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of January 7th as written. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The minutes of January 22nd.
Just have some changes. January, oh, sorry. Actually, I didn't catch it. I was thinking the 22nd had changes, but it was actually the 7th that had changes.
We can amend that.
Sorry.
So we can amend it.
There are several changes to January 7th minutes. First one on page 1 is correcting Janet's last name. In the present. The second one is on page 2, last paragraph, removing the word "we," currently pay $100 per ton, and putting in "the town" instead. On page 3, top of the page, each 15% saves the word "ton" needs to come out and "town" needs to be put in. Approximately 15,000. And then the biggest change, one of the biggest changes is on page 5, second paragraph down. It should read, the last sentence should be stricken. The difference between the low grade and the mid level is probably 5 cents. It should read, the difference between the mid grade at a regular gas station versus the Vernon pumps is 5 cents. Next question is on page 6, top of that page. We're inserting in the first sentence, after Newton said, the word "that." Second sentence will be stricken. Does Capen want to keep him that way, or do they want to use the reserves so they don't have to raise as much? And it will be replaced with, it might be possible to use some of the money in reserve to offset the department's budgets. So then same paragraph, 7, seventh one down. Be inserting the Dunkleys put in the fire pond using their own money, and stricken, Strake was already put in using their own funds. Last page, page 7, second paragraph down. Strike one line item for 12,225.84, removing all the other line items. Now will be replaced with, there will now be one line item for telephone expenses. The bill will show individual numbers, so breakouts can be provided if necessary. And then, and the last change is, at the bottom, the motion. I did not get who, because it ended, the DVD ended. The motion was made by, to allow the auditors to hire additional help for 10 to 15 hours per week. And the motion, who the motion was seconded by. Does anybody know? Sandy made the motion?
And it was either I or Jeff that, then it must have been me.
So you abstained? I did not have any.
And also on the front page,
Yeah.
Mary's last name.
I'm sorry?
Mary's last name.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I should have.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I move that we amend my first motion to accept the minutes of January 7th as written, now corrected to say as corrected.
So moved and seconded to amend the minutes of January 7th to change the vote to as corrected. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's get back to January 22nd.
You don't have anything?
I don't have any on that one.
Neither did I. So I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of the 22nd as written.
So moved and seconded to accept the minutes of January 22nd as written. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we just have the minutes of January 28th.
Thank you. I have them.
I know, for some reason I have two of them.
So did this come out okay, this DVD?
It did, thank you. It was perfect.
I knew what I did wrong, or I found out what I did wrong. I was playing with the wrong thingy. So it didn't work.
This one came out great, thank you.
Motion to accept the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as written for January 28th.
Second, please.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of January 28th as written. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have guests here this evening. Thank you all for coming. Mike Portamonch and Bob Spencer have been kind enough to do some work on the trash issue and what we're going to do for it. So if you'll come up, sit with us, you guys. I'm going to forget this. Everybody sign?
What's your smirk for?
Hmm?
What's your smirking for?
I'm just in a good mood.
You are or you aren't?
I am. Sometimes they don't last.
That's a
though, so-
rarity.
I'm not worried. I got a stomachache. I get sick, I know which way to aim it.
Oh, great. You're gonna give me the flu.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for the time that you've spent on this, and the floor is yours.
Okay, well, we were here January 7th.
Is that long ago?
Yes, and Norm and Mary were here that night too,
And welcome to,
from Triple. And our marching orders were to put together some sort of a informational flyer that could be sent out to residents to say, hey, here are the options we're looking at as a town for recycling and saving money on trash disposal. At the time, we were considering getting ready for a town meeting, possibly having, there was a need for town meeting vote on any expenditures. So what I did, and Mike helped me on this, I had some help from my staff at the Solid Waste District. We did like a newsletter, but like a Vernon from you guys, not from us. And this is the first, you're the first ones to see it.
Hot off the presses.
It is, actually. And I'm sorry I didn't get it to you sooner, but you know how those things go.
Thank you very
In
much.
fact, Patty and I were at a breakfast at 7:30 this morning.
It was a
Katrina?
fun one too, wasn't it?
It was good.
We had the chamber legislative breakfast this morning.
And Mike Hebert was there, our rep, because he's been instrumental in this whole recycling law. I thought if you wanted to take a few, by the way, it would be colored, nice, you know, and you guys would send it out. So you might want to just take a few minutes and look it over, or I can walk you through it first, however.
Now, let me tell you, Bob, we finished the articles last week, and our concern was, I think that this is more of a process than we were giving it time for. You know, we were trying to have all of our information ready to put it in an article for town meeting. We just didn't have enough information. And, you know, this is, to people in Vernon, is a very big issue. It's a very, very big issue. And we didn't want to rush it and not give the whole thing the time that it deserves. So we've decided to not make it an article. We will have a public meeting and we'll have a special town, we'll hold a special town meeting and do the vote by Australian ballot, because there are people, unfortunately, that can't make a town meeting. You know, they've got little kids, single parents, you know, there are issues out there, and everybody should have a right to have their voice heard on this issue, because this is a complete change in how we've done business in this town for a lot of years. And you know, my concern sometimes is when you do something like this at town meeting, you have a handful of people who feel one way that show up. Everybody else isn't there, and that vote is, you know, voted on by not the majority vote. And that was all of our issue. So we're going to, and unfortunately, we may end up having to have a town meeting shortly after the town meeting that we're having, but where we didn't have numbers and everything had to go to the printer, and you can't write articles when you don't have the numbers to put into the articles. And you know, I just felt that we were trying to rush you guys too much to try to get all this information also. So if there's enough information in here for us and you think that we're ready, the articles aren't, I don't think they've gone to the printer yet.
I think they have. Even still, we had a deadline, and that was the 4th.
Yeah, but we
Well, you haven't really had a chance, but there really isn't enough information here to make a decision. This is just to say, the residents, here are what the options out there. And, you know, for instance, I talked to Dave Walker this morning, you know, just even to evaluate if they wanted a transfer station as a whole process.
Right.
You know, I think that your approach, taking a little more time, since we're not under any gun, literally until 2015, as far as the new law, take more time makes sense.
So we have time to read.
Yeah, and I've been involved with enough communities that it could backfire on you. Just, your instincts are right.
Yeah, I don't want to call a public, none of us want to call a public meeting and not have the answers we need to have, because then we all look foolish. And this is, as I said, it's a really big issue to a lot of people in the town, so I think we need to really, you know, take our time and do the issue the justice that it deserves. So, you know, go ahead and walk us through this.
Well, all right, well, what we basically have said is that and it was set up that way, that we're asking for their residences would be mailed to the 800-some individual residences. And we started out just describing current program costs, the recycling rate, which the straight numbers that Sally gave us on our costs. And also what I did, I got from Triple T on this table on page 2, how many tons of trash they collect and bill the town in the last 3 years. And then the district has numbers on how many tons of recyclables we haul from the drop-off area here. So like if you just take this last year, 2012, this was a calendar year. We did it on, we had 795 tons of trash, and we had 66 tons of paper, 28 tons of cardboard, 49 tons of commingled containers. That totaled 143 tons. You add 143 to 795, then you divide that out, you get 15%, is our average recycling rate. And there's a lot of little variances in that. We know people from other towns bring recyclables to our drop-off. We also know people from other towns bring trash to relatives and friends in town. So what the real numbers are for Vernon, they're somewhere in that area. When you sat down on the 7th, you said to Norm, can you save us money? And Norm said, well, actually, my trash hauling, I can't cut that cost because it's pretty bare bones. And then he said, well, can you save us money on recycling? And the fact is that, and it says that to put on a curbside truck to collect recycling like they do in Brattleboro is an added cost. And we probably wouldn't get enough additional tons of recyclables to offset that added cost.
Yeah, I think what I was asking is if we found a way to push recycling more, how much money would we save?
And, well, then we get to the bottom of the page called Pay As You Throw, which is how you really push recycling, and how much money you probably could save. And that doesn't mean, it doesn't say whether you're using curbside or drop-off areas, it's just the system. And, Hinsdale, New Hampshire has it, Pay As You Throw, Northfield, Mass has it. We have towns in the district that have paying by the bag. So it's not anything new.
Right.
And the fact is, it is going to be required by the new state law, starting in July 2015. So one way or another, we're going to be doing a volume-based trash disposal every town will.
So, one question just for clarification. You indicated Hinsdale and Northfield have a pay as you throw. They also have a transfer station.
They do.
And
But Hinsdale
Is
also
there
has
curbside?
curbside trash.
right, so they have.
Hinsdale has everything.
Just let them
Well, Hinsdale's pays this row, pays for their transfer station 2 days a week.
get their trash.
Because the fee is
They have
set
to
so
pick
that
up
it
the
covers the
money.
operating costs of the transfer station.
Okay.
Pay As You Throw is very,
Exactly.
But when you take trash to the transfer station, you have to have it
I mean,
in
that's
a bag.
That's correct.
You know what I mean?
You can't bring your own.
that's right. And that's how the fee is assessed, through buying a bag.
But also there's curbside pickup in Hinsdale.
Yes.
That's correct.
But it's optional. You don't
Yeah.
have to have your trash collected in Hinsdale.
If you didn't want to recycle it, you could put a container in your yard and not recycle and have a hauler pick it up. But the town doesn't have the tipping fee on that container because it's no longer part of the curb service. So the town saves money because they don't have that tonnage anymore.
So who pays for the pickup?
The resident pays for it. He pays for the container.
So it's basically the same thing Guilford does. You can hire somebody to come pick up your trash if you
Well,
want
see,
to.
Hinsdale's trying to force them to recycle by pay as you throw, but if they refuse to do pay as you throw, they put a container and then they don't recycle or nothing, they just throw everything away. So that, in our state statute, will allow that.
Right.
It's just helpful to know what we aren't allowed to do. As well as what
be a revolution if it keeps
Which you're not allowed to
on.
do.
Yeah.
You can't force people.
All they talk about is millions with taxes that might be raised.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, we had a meeting this afternoon, Norm and Mary were there at the district with our haulers.
You won't
Not
get
a
mine.
public meeting,
Get
just,
ours
you know,
in
an informational, and we had, most of the haulers that we know, there. And, there's some really interesting ideas being presented, how the haulers will actually implement this. Vernon's a little different, because just Brattleboro, Vernon, and Westminster have curbside trash. And only Brattleboro of the 19 towns in the county has curbside recycling and trash. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, you know, I mean,
You made a comment, and I don't know if I was catching you wrong, but you said something about the state's gonna enforce pay-as-you-throw on you?
it's
As part of the bill?
mandatory.
So that's part of the bill also.
It is in the bill, very clear.
So even if we do a transfer station, we're still gonna have to do
It's up to
pay-as-you-throw?
pay-as-you-throw. The transfer station, this is the largest section here because there's so many ways to go about it, and we spent a lot of time with Norm and Peter and David Walker looking at our sites. So we basically, would say to residents, we're not collecting trash at the curb anymore. Everyone has to haul it up to the highway garage, if that's where we put this, and you're recycling. You basically say, we're not providing recycling or trash collection. Now, individuals could say, I don't want to drive up there, I don't like it. They could hire whoever they want to get their trash. Even then, the state law says that whoever they hire still has to have a pay-as-you-throw system.
Oh, good.
So we just did point out that there are 3 or 4 locations in town. We have the highway garage and out back in the garage, and the anticipated cost of somewhere maybe $45,000 or $50,000 to put that into place. We, this is through Triple T's numbers that, you know, if we gave up on curbside trash, it could save the town maybe $18,000 a year on hauling. Because it's still got to haul all that trash, it's just compressed. And then, you know, no, I'm sorry, it would save about $42,000 a year, compared to what they do now. And
Where do they haul it?
they take it up to his transfer station, you know, because he's got a licensed transfer station to dump it and put it in the big trailers and take it to distant landfills.
Would we have to be licensed?
Yeah, all the haulers have to be, well, someone would haul it. We would, yes, we have to get a permit for the transfer station, good point.
We also have to have hire somebody to operate it.
We have to have an attendant, it has to be a locked gate, it has to have published hours.
So it may not save us too awful much in the end, right?
Well, the point is, it's not gonna be open 40 hours a week.
Oh,
It's only gonna be
You
open
can
maybe
open however many-
2-3 days a week. That's a part-time position that wouldn't require Benny's or things like that.
yeah.
So there is, that I did put in here, Mike and I did that, you know, so let's say you spent $50,000 on building it, there'd be an additional operating cost for a part-time attendant.
I see it.
There'd be electricity because it's 3-phase and it's running a compactor. It would be a step back in convenience, you know, it's a loss of convenience. And
Anything we do is gonna be a step back in convenience for the people who just put everything out at the end of their driveway. I mean, anything we do, but we certainly have to get real about
what, I also wanted to point out.
what's
is
going
that
in the landfill.
Vernon, and I'm proud of this because I live here and I love this town, is the first town to actually tackle this issue in the district. To say, we want to be proactive, we want to get moving on this. Of course, you're looking at saving taxpayer dollars, so it's not just for recycling purposes. but-
Well, you know, also too, though, I mean, the reason why I wanted to jump on it is because I know that this is gonna be a huge issue in this town. Because people are used to just going out to the curb. I mean, Mike spent years trying to push people into recycling, worked really hard at it, and we got 15%. So, you know, we're changing people's lifestyle by this bill. So it, you know, it's gonna take more time in Vernon than it might in the other towns who aren't, you know, there, a lot of towns in our county are not used to putting their trash out at the end of their driveway. So the change in this law isn't gonna make a huge difference in their lives. I mean, I'm already hearing from people going, I don't care what it costs, I don't wanna have to haul my trash anywhere, I live somewhere where we had to go to the, you know, and then I'm hearing from other people saying, you know, it's about time we get real and start pushing recycling. So, you know, there are people on all sides of this fence, and they're all gonna wanna be heard, you know how that works. So,
What if we decided to have the pay-as-you-throw curbside pickup, and we just left the recycling as it is, and let the residents take their recycling like they always have to the recycling
That is
bin?
not allowed by the new law, that the haulers have to offer it wherever you have trash.
That's illegal.
That's the.
well, it's not illegal if they pass the law.
It's,
No, I
You know
checked-
what Montpelier
I
is
checked
like.
in- I checked into
You're
that,
making
because I
it
said, hey,
legal.
we've got recycling drop-off centers, and actually, that's
so you
what-
can take your trash and take it down there and throw it into the compactor, but you can't take your recycling. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's the dumbest thing
No, no,
I
no,
think
they're-
I've ever
They're
heard.
different things, though. The pay-as-you-throw, the whole point behind pay-as-you-throw is because they feel that if people have to pay for their trash bags, they're gonna be conservative about what goes in them, so that the jars and
Well,
aluminum
yeah,
cans and
you
all that
would,
stuff will
because
go to
if you're getting
recycling.
pay-as-you-throw at curbside pickup, but you have to take your recycling yourself to a recycling center, which then a hauler would pick that up and take it wherever it goes. But to tell somebody that you can't do that, that's dumb. That's the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard. Because you can take your trash there and throw it, but you can't take your recycling?
No, 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 I think.
What kind of an idiot would have thought that
I
up?
think you're confusing the different things. Where you take your trash is if we have a compactor.
Right.
That's different.
Well, why
Pay-as-
couldn't we have a compact, or not a compactor, but just a place to take your recyclable?
That,
I think I can answer that.
yeah, Norm,
I think if you fence this in with an intendant,
Mm-hmm.
you can do both. Both your trash and your recycling. As long as you have an attendant, it's fenced in.
Mm-hmm.
You can have both going on at the same location.
But you have to have both, you can't have one or the other.
that's right, you can't have just trash.
You can't have just trash.
You can have just recycling now, as we do.
Until 2015.
We could still have just the recycling center, but the
That's, I
haulers
think that's
would-
what he was asking.
Yeah,
you
that's
could
what
still
I'm
have-
asking.
You could still have
Right?
just the recycling.
Yeah.
That's what he's asking.
Yes, but you can't, I gotta tell you, what we're thinking about at the district is we get rid of the drop-off recycling areas. If it's gonna be mandated at this curb.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that
We're
would,
gonna get rid of one.
It would be like Brattleboro's, you'd have a box that says recyclables, and that would be
Right.
picked up at the same
That's
time
right.
as your, yeah, trash, and any person that don't want to pay too big of a price will be putting their recycles in
And
that
it'll be-
box.
It'll
And
be up to the hauler to pick those up. The
Uh-huh.
district would say, we're not in the hauling business. I mean, what we're trying to do is find a compromise between what the haulers need to do to make this, and what the district really
Yeah, because I'd
wants.
hate to take them out of their
Well,
jobs
and
as
we don't-
well.
I don't wanna haul boxes if I
I mean,
don't
we're
have
taking
to.
enough jobs away from
Let them haul,
our
that's
people.
their business. We only haul because no one else is doing it.
I was just trying to think of a way that it would be easier for the residents, because obviously the trash, you could get picked up, pay as you throw. You're not gonna throw out all your recyclable if you're paying to get rid of it.
That's the point.
But if you have a place where you could take it, a convenient place,
But if they
It
had a
would be
box outside of your
less
door,
money, obviously, well, that'll cost them more money.
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause you're
getting,
not-
I'm getting confused
You're
here,
not
so-
saving
so
any,
you're saying-
you're cramming recycle down your throat, but you're not saving a nickel.
You're saying you're combining page.
In fact, it's costing you more.
Having recycling picked up at the curbside,
No,
right?
No.
no.
he wants
I
it
would
to
like to
stay just
see-
like it is.
Leave the recycling center for people.
Yeah,
And
and
just
pay
have
as
the
you
hauler.
throw.
But they do not allow, the haulers still have to have recycling. That's what the law says.
The haulers have to, or we have to?
The haulers have to.
So,
So what if you choose not to use the hauler's recycling?
Then it's up to the,
It-
there's
it-
probably someone could probably get out of it, that, if they didn't have a hauler, they said, hey, I take care of my own stuff. There's not a police force that's out there. It's not a perfect, you got some good points there.
Okay, I'm confused, because you said that those recycle bins could stay right where they are, and then we'd pay as you go at the curb. But then you just said, no, you can't do that because the haulers have to pick it up. I don't,
yeah, see, that's where you're
No.
confusing
You're
me.
confusing me.
I think I got it. I think I got it. The haulers have to offer recycle option, but I can choose not to give the hauler my recycles. I can haul them over there and just do my pay-as-you-go trash, correct?
That's exactly right.
I thought what you were telling us at the meeting.
yeah, that doesn't make
All the
sense.
drop-off centers for
Because
recycling
Brattleboro still has their.
were going away unless they were mandated or fenced in.
We haven't made a decision, I'm just saying
But I
that's
mean,
an option.
that's what us haulers were told.
Yes.
So, I'm a little confused as well.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any
Thank goodness we
sense.
decided to hold this off a little, because it's very confusing.
Yes.
The other thing is, on page 1, you have with 135,000.
Sorry, I confused everyone.
You didn't.
And then they have the
He's saying two
fundraising
different
down in
things.
the corner for Triple T. Is that, both numbers combined on the first part of that paragraph?
Yeah, 135,000 is for tipping and the
Because
transportation.
down the bottom, it says Triple T at $100 a ton, which is Brattleboro salvage, not Triple T.
It's not in addition to it.
Right. Okay, it looks like it's an additional, they're both the same. That 135.
The
is
trash, the
one
fee
number
above
there,
includes
pickup,
that,
disposal, and it includes that $100 a ton.
yes.
Okay, let me ask Bob, because I was under the impression, if we went to pay-as-you-throw, there'd be clear bags, the people picking up the trash could see in them, if there were recyclables in them, they want to take it, which unfortunately, they have to become the
Trash police.
trash police, but if we did that, and we were doing pay-as-you-throw, we're pushing people to not throw away recyclables, so then they would have to drop them off at the recycling center. But you're saying if we do pay-as-you-throw, we still have to do recycling pickup.
I'm saying that what the law says is that the haulers have to offer recycling pickup.
But we as a municipality don't have to do both?
If it was our own municipal collection, yes, but when a town like Vernon says we opt to have private companies do it, then that burden transfers to the private company.
Wait a minute, hey, you got something else in it, yeah.
I'm getting really confused here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because what I think that what I'm confused about is that you say that they have to offer it. All right, so we decide, no, you can offer all you want. We don't want you to do our recycle. We just want you to do our pay-as-you-go. So then we have the option to go down there and put the recycle away.
You can't have the hauler collect just trash.
Well, what if we?
Okay, so then we can't keep that down there. They're still going to have to,
You could have both.
oh, I see what you're saying. So then that costs us big money.
So what if we-
So,
Why can't we hire like Triple T to pick up
them
our
both.
pay as our throw, and then have Triple T leave say a roll-off box there where we would go one day a week and put the stuff in it, the recyclable stuff, and then you haul it away. It would be less work for you and less money for us if you were just doing that instead of having to have a truck run all around
Yeah,
town.
but those things there get so full sometimes.
Well, I
Just
think-
one
We
little
did
bin
it
isn't
once
gonna
a-
do it,
once
right?
a week.
I think this shows why it's good we're not gonna try to do this.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the answers for this.
Yeah.
It's literally in a statute that's got a lot of gray areas. And I confused things tonight by saying we had this meeting where we talked about dropping the recycling areas up here.
Yeah.
I was just saying, because
Sorry.
that's a possibility. That's how powerful the law is, that's putting it all on the hauler.
And I think what we're getting confused at, and please, I don't mean this wrong. I care about what the haulers have to do, but I'm not concerned about what the haulers have to do. What we're trying to figure out is, you understand what I'm saying? What we're trying to figure out is, what do we as a municipality have to do? Because the choice is going to be to pay them one way or another, so,
Well,
they will have, well, maybe not.
no.
We could just say,
go to
we're not
the
doing
last
anything.
option is if you look at it, we're out of the business of trash.
Yeah.
Oh, private haulers, yeah.
Yeah, we could do
Town of
that.
Vernon could just- And that's what Guilford has done in quite a few towns.
Now, when you were saying private haul, now, I just said that I don't care about their law, I care about ours, but here I go asking about theirs. So, what you're saying is, they, under statute, if they're going to pick up your trash, they have to offer to pick up your recycling separate.
At no additional
Free.
charge.
Free.
Oh, my
See, that's
goodness.
why I think that it'd be better
That's
to have,
terrible.
That's,
Well,
It
It
is.
doesn't make sense.
that's,
that's terrible because.
That
It's
is.
worse because
It doesn't make
that
sense.
means we can't charge Brattleboro for picking up the recyclables.
so how do you stay in
We're already
business?
getting paid.
So you're
Oh
gonna
my God, you're gonna lose money.
So they want people to recycle, they want you to be part of the process, but yet then they're saying, but you're not gonna get paid.
Well, actually, no, to be really honest how it works. And it's very tricky, and I've been up to Montpelier, sat down with
Montpelier
Mike
is very
Hebert.
tricky, I was there for 12 years, I can
And
tell
you know,
you.
and Mike Hebert was in our meeting this afternoon. Basically, you can't have a separate fee for recycling. So basically what they're saying is your hauling collection cost is now gonna have a built-in fee for recycling.
Right.
Isn't that it?
Well,
So you can charge more, but not,
person that
You
would
can't have
charge them
charges
$35, $37, $38 a month now, we're picking up their trash. They're saying they have to pick it up, the recycling for free, but not necessarily for the same flat fee. But we can't charge extra for recycling. So they're trying to promote recycling. Now, whether it's gonna be stickers or bags, we're not sure yet. That the public has to buy those from the haulers. Now, this is on the private sector. It has nothing to do with town curb service. Town curb service will be handled by the town. That's the way it is in Hinsdale, that's the way it would be here, that's the way it would be in Brattleboro. But where I get confused is they say we're picking it up for free. Does that mean that the contract we have with Brattleboro is now invalid and we have to pick the recycling up for free?
or can you roll the cost of their recycling into the cost of their trash
Trash.
pickup and just charge them one amount,
That's what will
added the
happen.
both of them
This
together?
is where-
Of course it will. It
This is where
should.
it gets tricky. Now,
Yep.
we're working for the private sector, and we do exactly what you just said, and they got one bag of trash, and they're paying $30-some odd a month for one bag, 4 bags a month. They're not gonna need a hauler. We're out of business there too, so it's kinda tricky, we're listening, and we're not
So you're
sure.
saying that the private citizens that you pick up for when this mandatory recycling bill goes
Numbers in
into effect,
Guilford that don't
all of those personal residents that you pick up for are not gonna pay the same price if they have half the amount of trash.
Well, they're gonna have to actually pay more, cause we gotta go there twice.
Because you can't pick up recycling and trash in one truck, because you can't mix
Well, you
it.
can, they got new units out that are split now, so that you could possibly.
But you don't have any of those,
Nope,
so you can't.
well, they make them, we buy them, I guess.
But that's why the
He laughs. We buy 'em.
Our haulers are very concerned about this law, because it's imposing
It is.
additional costs and new equipment.
Well, I mean, well, the potential of putting some haulers out of business.
Absolutely.
And you were right.
And the
Who's
big
dumbass
guys are
that
waiting
thought of
in the
this law
wings.
It
anyway?
is
They're concerned
stupid.
about, they're concerned about
Moronic.
Casella
Yep.
Waste Management running out the little haulers, which the only
Exactly.
place, the only place
I can
they
tell you, I
are is
won't be
right here in
voting for
southern
that person
Vermont,
again.
is what's left of them.
Yeah, because the rest of them haven't run out.
I didn't.
Wow.
So it's,
So much
I
for
wouldn't
taking
vote
care of
for
the
that.
little guy, huh, Norm?
Long nose thing.
well, I actually am encouraged that we're gonna work something out. And I know the district is
Oh, he's
committed to
a liar.
working something out. with
But
our
like Norm
haulers.
said, most of the state, the
I
small
don't know, the
haulers
governor?
won, because they've been.
And the
That's who I'm
district
talking
attorney.
about.
Yeah,
just like farms. You know, you look at the statistics in the last 10, 20
And if
years.
it's
Well, you
vested
can't keep in
again.
business
you
when the
won't get it.
legislature makes it too difficult for you to do business.
Well, Mike Hebert used an example today. He said, we paint in broad strokes, so we want to have a water quality law. We just say, well, reduce pollution. You go figure out how to do it. We want recycling. You go figure out how to do it.
I could tell you stories that Mike Hebert hasn't even learned yet.
Well, but he was
good this morning. He was real good this morning.
He was, and kind of alone.
Yeah, well,
The problem
welcome
is
to my
they-
world.
Yeah.
The problem is they put the law in place to force people to recycle. I'm good with that. But when they say you gotta do it for free,
Yeah.
I'm not so good with that, because how am I gonna run my route twice to get it done, or buy more equipment, whichever the choice with the small haulers. The smaller the hauler, the less money they have to
do
do things. And like Timmy and Reed and those guys, they don't have that triple T money, we'll say, because we have a lot of contracts, and we don't just operate right here in this area like they do. We operate in all the way down 2X's up in Connecticut line now. So that's where our new money is getting out of this area and getting over to where there's new money. That's how Triple T has grown so much, is getting out of the area that we're based in to get out to where there's new money. But these little haulers don't have that choice. They're stuck in this little town, in this area, small bullseye, and this law is apt to destroy them.
Well, the legislature must be hearing a lot from people about this bill. Has Mike said that there's gonna be any changes to this bill before, because they do that sometimes. They write a bill and go, whoops, we really
Well, the
screwed
law
up.
actually does require that it be evaluation and allows for changes, it encourages it. We met with A&R staff, Mike and a couple of the haulers, after we had our meeting, to just have this discussion, and they will do, policy guidance documents to help define
Mhm.
certain gray areas.
Mhm.
But sure, they can change the law. The problem is, the main haulers they hear from are the big ones that supported this.
Because they see it
I mean,
generating
that's
more
really
business for
How it
them.
happened. I'm telling you, our district, and I'm
Rural people.
personally, as the director, committed to working with our haulers to figure this out. And if that means we give up
Vermont's
hauling ours,
anti-business.
we spend $500,000 a year collecting the recycling.
Isn't the whole nation now?
That hauling should go to the private sector. You know,
Anti-mom and
Our
pop.
goal is we want these tonnages of recyclables, because we sell them, it's a commodity.
Right.
That's what we want out of it. And they don't want to build a reprocessing center to do the recyclables.
So you could kind of make a deal where they
Yeah.
pick up the recycling and bring it
We
to you
process
and you
it.
process it.
And they want us to.
We do now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they bring us 800 tons a year, just norm. So we are trying very hard to figure this out. And I think we're getting close. Mike Hebert's been really great with this. He spent 3 meetings with us in the last, 6 weeks just on this. So in a way, maybe this is kind of good. You're not gonna jump right into this. Let's see what the district comes up with the haulers. We have time, and then maybe come back.
That went into effect for 2014, so we had to be prepared for next year's budget.
Some portions of it, but not the residential
Oh, okay.
pay-as-you-throw, not until 20.
Because that's why we were pushing, because
Right.
we were under the understanding that we had to have something in our budget for 2014.
The good thing is you may be an example for the whole state.
I think we are figuring this out right now for the state. It's scary. But-
I'd
So,
like
on
to
the
see
other hand,
curb.
let's define it the way that works for us, and then, you know how it is. They haven't
Absolutely.
figured it out, so let's us figure it
Yeah,
out.
I know, we're in a good position by having.
That's Mike's, he's saying, let's do this.
Yeah, we're in a really good position
Let's
by
go
having.
figure this out, because we've asked A&R, and they are like, we don't know.
I know,
Tell us
I've
what you
heard
want.
from a lot of people, they don't want this transfer station. They don't, because it's
Getting
too
early
hard for
too,
them
you may have
to
more
haul it
input.
themselves.
I'm sorry?
If you get in early with what you've done already, you may have a lot more input,
Yeah.
because the A&R still got the ears listening to what the haulers are putting in. Towns can put into this through Bob, and so there's a lot of input going in. You'll have more say if you're in early. When you go to the other part of the spectrum, you may not have any say at all. This is what you're
Yeah,
gonna
we're stuck with
do.
what we got. No, it's
And
always
we are-
better to be
We're talking to
proactive.
like Addison County, which is the closest to Wyndham County in population and has private haulers there, and the Northeast Kingdom, and, you know, there's pockets of rural, I mean, Wyndham's pretty low population density, so that's our issue. It's route density and collecting
Mhm.
issues, so.
It says July 1st, 2014, collect mandated recyclables separate from other solid waste.
That isn't for residents.
Oh,
That applies to,
okay.
yeah, his commercial accounts and
Thank you.
whatnot.
Okay, well, I feel better. I mean, you know, the reason why we were really trying to push this is because, you know, in our first discussions, somebody said it was 2014, so we were talking about having to have something in the budget. So it kind of sounds like we can really take our time on this.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Have a couple town or
Because we
public
don't
meetings.
have the answers tonight,
Right.
other than here's what the general guidelines are.
And she'll have a lot to say.
And that's why I'd like to continue to be proactive on it, though. I mean, it's easy to say, well, you know, nothing's been defined, so we'll wait back 6, 8 months and then see what they come up with. I think it's better that we do have the public forums, that we do continue the investigation and can have it, that way it gives us a seat at the table, which makes things better for our county.
It won't be crammed down your throat that way.
Right.
You'll be working towards what needs to happen and be part of it.
Well, town meeting's only a month away, unbelievable. So I don't think at this point then, maybe we should just continue to meet and, you know, you tell me, Bob, what the best way would
Well,
be. Should we form a committee? Are you
I'm
two
feeling
willing?
more confident in the work that I'm doing with the hauling community
Mhm.
and Mike Hebert and our staff to try to kind of figure out something and then bring that back to the town. Then
And we could set up our first public
yeah,
forum
then-
from
and
there.
then once we really have some real concrete options and some costs, then have a meeting. So I think we're just gonna confuse everyone. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
very difficult to.
It was very
But, you
easy to
know,
confuse us.
There's
Yeah.
there's enough talk out though. This is excellent, by the way. Thank you both very
Yes,
much.
it's great.
I think we should continue down this road, maybe instead of February for a public forum.
Yeah, let's wait till after town meeting in April.
I was gonna say even the beginning of April. We'll send this out in March, have the meeting in the beginning of April. By then, we should have a little bit more idea as to what's going on, and maybe we can meet a few more times. Do you wanna set up a committee? Do you want you and Mike to just work on it? Sometimes the committee process can
I
very
think
bring
right
down
now,
too.
anyone who wants to get in, Mike and I are doing it, and I'm working really closely with Norm and Peter and Cheryl Franklin. Cheryl's been fantastic. She has been talking to other districts, and she's very good at this. I'm calling her my assistant now. She's helping me out.
It's awesome. We have everybody like right in our,
We
in
do.
our
Yeah,
town
absolutely.
that, yeah, that are,
So,
Most
I mean,
knowledgeable.
I'd love to have more people, but right now, we can continue to, just so you know, our committee with the haulers, we agreed today that within 2 weeks, we're gonna have a draft plan that Mike Hebert will take to A&R and say, does this pass what you need? And that they agreed to. I don't wanna go into it, because even bringing up dropping the recycling center is confuses
it
this
confuses
issue.
people, right, right,
Um,
right.
And not that we couldn't talk about it, it's just that there's so much uncertainty. So let's do it that way.
Okay, well, let's continue to look at coming back in March,
Yep,
putting a date on this in March, to have a meeting in April,
okay.
and to start educating people. We won't have a meeting and then have a vote the next week. We'll have our first meeting. This is the law. You know, maybe even, I'll take some time to pull the law down and put it into normal language instead
There are
of the
some
way they
good
speak.
summaries of it, in fact, I'll give you one right now.
Doesn't have all the pages to it, just does the summaries.
So this is just a
It's easier
two-page
for them to
summary.
understand.
We call them cheat sheets in
They're
Montpelier.
cheat sheets.
We never knew the laws, we only knew the cheat sheets.
Katrina wanted to circulate that. It comes from A&R. It was called House Bill HR 148, now, 418, now it's 148, so, I mean, the number at the top's wrong.
Okay.
So, do you want me to plan on the March select board meeting?
Yeah.
That would be,
Get us
March, we
copies?
meet
Thank you.
in, on the, is that the 2015?
The 4th?
Yep, the 4th and the 18th?
18th, yeah.
No, I won't be here on the 18th, but that's okay. You guys can handle it for me.
I think.
I've done it many times before, I could hit.
Not many.
I think I could be
Yes.
ready to bring something on the 4th.
Okay, let's do the 4th then.
All right.
Excuse me, the 4th is town meeting?
Well, that's
Oh.
town meeting.
I knew there was something going on the 4th. Why didn't you say it right away?
So looking at April.
So the only thing that there will be then at the first reading is just to reconvene, so we really won't have a meeting. Meet on the 10th?
Would be the second meeting.
No, 11th.
It would be the 11th,
March
yes.
11th, that's the second Monday. So
Okay.
would you have a special meeting on the 11th? I mean, that would be your your regularly scheduled, but moved to the 11th?
Right.
All right, let's shoot for that.
Hey, Bob, they got a real calendar here.
All right, Norman, you're my other date. Don't you give up Triple T, Republic,
Would you like one of those? I'll make sure you get one.
I need one.
Okay.
They pointed out our office at an old one.
It was December, December, and they're looking at the calendar trying to pick out a date.
I love those at a glances. I live by mine, so.
And then we can talk at that time about when an appropriate public forum might be.
Okay,
So we don't need to decide on that.
okay. And then we can talk about sending this out.
Yeah.
And if there's any updating.
Well,
that needs to be
hopefully
done.
we'll have made some revisions to it, but if you have time and look it over, and if you like the overall format, you know, it's your document, I just drafted it, so you need to sign it.
You did an awesome job too.
Thank you.
Really, we really appreciate the work that you guys are doing on this. It's just,
I like this.
Well,
a little overwhelming.
well, I'm pleased to have a town that I know and can work with to try to figure this out, it's gonna help me in other towns.
Yeah, and it's great that we have so many players in our town. It really,
We have an unusual waste, citizenry. Thanks. You got anything else you wanna add, Mike?
No, just like you said, it's a long process, and the more education and the more getting your feet wet is, and that's all I tried to do. Every month, you throw something in the paper and say, this is how we're doing, and it seemed like back then that the rates were increasing, or at least the recycling rates were increasing and the trash was decreasing. Now, all of a sudden, we're in a backwards stance where trash is increasing, recycling is decreasing, and
well, you know, no, people get busy and it's just too easy.
it is too
Bring
easy.
it to the
It hasn't been anything to stop them. Brattleboro, I will say, has been very active about stopping the residents from throwing away recyclables.
They tried to do pay-as-you-throw though, and it blew up in their face.
Well, they're gonna have it anyway, so, if they like it or not, because the state's gonna make them, but they're very active about the recycling being thrown away. Although it is a little difficult, and we talked about it at the meeting today, was that Brattleboro has a lot of black bags, and we're not allowed to open them, but we have to tag them for recycling. If there's recycling in them, we're supposed to tag them, but we're not allowed to open the bag to see the recycling that's in it. And that's been quite a war because of, they'll say, well, the recycling that you feel in there is contaminated, that's why it's being thrown away. So hopefully we go to clear bags, then that way there we can identify it without opening the bags with the private stuff that may be in there. And at least we know, hey, there is recycling in there, it's gonna be a lot easier. So, but Brattleboro, but they have been active about stopping. You gotta remember, it's been over 20 some odd years that we built this MRF, and we're supposed to be mandatory recycling then.
Yeah, probably what's gonna come out, this came out from the haulers. They think the district should implement mandatory recycling to make sure that those recyclables will be coming back to the district, because that's how we lower the cost to all the towns. Our assessments are based on what we can't make from selling recyclables, so there's a financial incentive to keep them here. And they also want us to register the small haulers that are 1 ton or under, because they're exempt under state law, yet they are a serious competition for our haulers. And so there's some things that we can do as a district to help that business sector.
That's more Timmy and Cheryl and Reed than be us.
Yeah.
I agree with them, but I mean, they are in competition with us, and if the state says they don't have to follow the law, then it doesn't put us all on the same playing field, which I disagree with, but as far as in competition, we do get some competition from the small ones, there's Triple T, but we don't concentrate on it a whole lot. That's the small part of our business. Gotta share.
So I'm very confident, based on the research I've been doing on pay-as-you-throw, that the town can save money. I mean, then we started out, how can we accomplish these goals and save money? And I'm very confident that we can reduce our costs.
I agree. Your mother-in-law, sister-in-law is not gonna bring her trash from another town and put it at the curb, which a town might pay for.
They have a heck of a travel if they're gonna do that in my family.
It's not just that, though. I mean, drive around Thursday and look at all the
I know.
recyclables.
I've said it myself, Mike, and we have a neighbor that moved out months ago. There's still trash at the end of his driveway. It's like, how did that happen? So, we see it. You drive, and I mean, sometimes I'm appalled when I drive by somebody's house. And, everybody does their spring cleaning. Everybody has stuff that they have to get rid of, but not every week.
Right.
How does anybody generate that much trash in 1 week? I think they really have to collect it. It's just to put on their
Yeah, I
driveway.
think it's particularly in South Vernon and North Vernon, like you said, there's some residences that doesn't seem like they really ought to produce any trash, but they have a pretty full driveway. And thinking about it, it's coming from out of town.
What?
And we as taxpayers are subsidizing people from out of town.
There isn't any difference between your curb service than when we did free day. Same thing is happening. Pay control, hey, you're not leaving it at my house, not until you pay me.
I'm amazed at some of the stuff that people put out. I mean, I would go to, drop it off myself at Triple T, thinking there's no way anybody's gonna pick this stuff up, and it gets picked up. I mean, just the things that I've seen out at the end of it. But I have to say, this whole conversation, although I hate the government telling me I have to do anything a certain way. As far as I'm concerned, they have no right to run my life. But this has made me much more. Every time I carry a bag out to the end of the driveway now, I go, is there anything in here that I shouldn't be throwing away? So it does make you stop and think.
Well, I've always thought about my relatives in this town, going back to the Depression. They were the ultimate recyclers.
Mhm.
And this was nothing new.
Oh, they never threw anything. The generation
Yeah.
before us never threw
And
anything
they didn't
away.
buy as much stuff.
No.
Or they had their own dumps.
That too.
Yeah, that's true, unfortunately.
My family did, I know they
But
did.
still, there just wasn't this throwaway.
No,
mentality.
different
I
society,
think for Mays allowance too.
yeah. Yeah, if something happened to your TV, you call it a TV repairman, try finding one today. There's no such thing,
Thank you
Try
for
finding a
bringing that
TV
up.
you
The
can
haulers are the only thing left. They come to your house. You think of it, TV repair, washer repair, you can get a washer repair man, but they got a minimum flat fee to get there, plus they mark their stuff up 200% that they put into your, and then we gotta pay to throw your stuff away on top of that. So it's pretty remarkable we're still here.
Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much for the time and effort you're putting into this, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
See you on the 4th, about 11, 10.
Yeah, probably the fourth.
Somewhere around there. Unless I see you at another meeting before.
All right, bye everyone.
I'll get them the 12th, the just meeting.
I want to say too, I didn't mean that I did it a lot under your tenure because that probably was only once, but, you know, I did it. No, not you. I didn't mean you, so I probably should clarify that.
Okay, Bobby, you're on. Treasurer's report. Treasurer's not here. Because we've already signed the warrants.
How did anybody, I didn't go in to sign them, so
She
did,
had 3.
I know. I figured that. But what I'm asking was not that, was the overtime. Had that been cut down? Did anybody?
We talked to the police chief.
Yes.
And I think maybe we should discuss this in executive session.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just wondered if it was different, these, on this one.
A little bit, but the conversation really hadn't been had before.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, what we
We're
pay
gonna
for
catch up,
warrants,
I
yeah,
understand.
Next warrants shouldn't have any.
and she did say that she had just got it.
Yeah, you were with me. I was just gonna repeat the conversation to you. You were
But
with
thank
me.
you. I do remember that. Must be the oxygen to the brain.
Must be.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Miller,
I move that we approve warrants 16 SG, accounts payable $58,447.79, 4S payroll $11,972.41, 5S payroll $11,628.89.
it's been moved and seconded to pay warrants 16 SG, accounts payable $58,447.79, 4S payroll $11,972.41, and 5S payroll $11,628.89. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, fraud policy, do we have that?
Thought we did, yeah.
Who's that?
I didn't take the time to look at it. I haven't been home.
Me either.
This is the fraud policy that, fraud prevention policy that was downloaded from VLCT at Sally's request at the last meeting.
Okay.
It is word for word what they have on there. Nothing has been changed as of yet.
Absolutely, make a motion.
I make a motion to table the fraud policy until the next meeting so we can time to study it.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to table the fraud prevention policy till the next meeting, so the select board has more time to look at it. We just got it today, so. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, last week when we were talking, it came to our attention that Sally's computer has a tendency to go out more than it's on, and she was concerned that if it went out at town meeting, she wouldn't be able to have all the figures readily available. So the select board talked about her getting a new laptop, so we don't end up having to postpone town meeting for another week until she can get her numbers together. So I need a motion to ratify the,
Madam Chair, I make a motion to ratify our decision of the last meeting that we had was...
January 28th.
Thank you. And allow the treasurer to purchase a laptop, spending no more than $1,500.
it's been moved and seconded to ratify the decision made at March 28th, January 28th special meeting to allow the treasurer to to purchase a laptop with a spending amount of no more than $15,000. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's $1,500.
1,500.
$1,500. It's an expensive laptop.
I want that one, must be lined in gold or something.
We also need to ratify allowing the historians to have their bake sale out here in the lobby, and the Girl Scouts are now out here in the meeting room. and the Girl Scouts to have their cookie sale in the lobby
And
upstairs.
preschool to have their raffle.
I would like to say something. The Girl Scouts have done that in the past, and they've gotten away with some of the voters coming in. So I'd rather see them maybe set up at the end where Pete normally holds.
They were going up in the
Yeah,
foyer.
Oh, in
we're
the
gonna put
foyer
them in the foyer
upstairs.
because there's a book
Okay.
sale going on up there too.
Yeah,
That's fine.
okay.
Because I was thinking that where they come down.
Yeah,
Well, I
'cause-
told them that they could talk, no, we voted to let them go upstairs.
Yep.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and I think it clearly says that in the
It
motion.
does say that in the motion.
Mhm.
I was thinking the foyer again with PD. Because we had that once.
Yeah, no, we meant upstairs. Madam Chair, I move that we ratify the decision to have the historians have their bake sale downstairs as you come into the big room there. And the preschool have their raffle, as usual, and the Girl Scouts to have, to sell their Girl Scout cookies, but upstairs in the foyer between the library and the town office, in that foyer.
It's been moved and seconded to ratify the decision of January 28th to allow the historians to have their bake sale, the preschool to have their raffle in the big room outside here, meeting room outside here, and the Girl Scouts to have their cookie sale upstairs in the lobby. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any new business?
Yes. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to send a $100 gift certificate to Sharon Richardson and family to help during this time of crisis.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to send a $100 gift certificate to Sharon Richardson's family to help during this time of crisis. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I have something too that I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
I had heard that you had to get a note to come back to work because you were sick. And I think that we need to, or the select board in the future needs to work on that policy and make some changes, because I could see if you got hurt or if you were hurt at work or even at home, you might need a note to come back to work. But if you're sick, you don't necessarily go to the doctors, and why would you have to go just to get a note?
You don't, it was because I was out for more than 3 days.
Yeah,
And
and,
I had no problem with that. My doctor was fine.
but it's just,
I agree with Bobby, and
It's
that's
nonsense.
in the employee handbook, and that's what we're working on next, is the employee handbook, but I think it was you somebody I'd already discussed it with. It's a little foolish. It's one thing if you fall and break your leg, and you want to make sure that a person is well healed before they come back to work, because if
Right.
they fall again, you don't want it to be a liability to the town, and certainly we have a responsibility to protect the town in that way. But when it's flu season, and we know it's a bad flu season this year, and somebody is sick for more than 3 days, for them, most time, you call a doctor and they say, don't come in because you have the flu. So now you're between a rock and a hard place, because you can't go see a doctor because they don't want to see you, but yet you can't go back to work because you don't have a doctor's note. That's, I think it's, like everything else, good intentions sometimes get carried a little too far. And thank you, Bobby, for bringing that up, because that is something that we definitely need to deal with when we work on the employee handbook.
well, when I heard it, it's one of those things that I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Well,
So if you're a town employee,
That's
you don't
standard
have a
practice in
regular
most
doctor.
yes, I'm gonna say that.
And you're out with the flu for 4 days, for example, or all week, you have to go find a doctor, somebody that you don't see on a regular basis, pay them,
To get a note.
or the town pays them, health insurance,
Mhm.
to get a
And that's
note
why
saying-
insurance is so expensive.
Well,
But that is what's in the town, the employees,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
well, the thing is I think that the reason why it was put in there, it's also a protection for the town too. So, because anybody can call up and say, I have the flu for 3 weeks or 4 days or whatever. So it actually protects the employer
Right, many flowers.
from fraud.
You could put
Exactly.
in the employee manual that it could be requested that you obtain a note.
That's a
Not
good idea.
required.
Because we know.
So if she suspected that somebody was abusing that part of the policy.
But if
And
you
could
were,
request
if
it.
you were over it as a doctor, they're not gonna argue with you. They'd just give you a note and send you on your way.
Yeah, when you're talking about something like the flu, I mean, it's different if you have pneumonia or, you know, but when you have the flu, doctors don't want to see you.
They don't.
No.
They don't want to contaminate their office. There's nothing they can give you. They can't make it better, so all you can do is stay home and have chicken soup and
Be miserable.
Theraflu.
by yourself.
That's right.
And just let it run its course. So, you know, there is a point, but, you know, Chris has a good point. A lot of times these policies
put
are
in there
made
for a
to stop
reason.
people for abuse. So that's a good option. You know, right now, we don't have employees that would push it to that point. But someday we may, and that'll be up to the manager. Now, the problem we have, in your case, you're the manager of your department. So who, you know, who's
To
supposed
be
to
the
make the
human
decision?
resource, I would think.
Yeah.
Be Sally,
Yeah.
whoever the human resource person was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
if she
didn't-
went back and said, you know, look, you know, Sandy's been out, and I'm just picking on Sandy because she's here, of course, but Sandy's been out, you know, every month, 3 days out of the month, then, you know, Sally could
I would want
request,
to
you know,
request.
a doctor's note based on
But the problem I
history.
have with that
Yeah.
is you're dealing with some people that are elected officials.
Right.
And you're telling somebody who's
Yes.
a human resource person to oversee an elected official
That's
and
right.
tell an elected official whether or not they have to get a doctor's note. And I think that,
Right.
you know,
That goes back to your
I think
personnel
that-
policy,
yes,
though,
'cause
when you accept benefits, you accept the personnel policy.
Right.
That's the way it's written now, I'm just saying
you're
the way
right,
it's
you're
written
right.
now.
But there's that, you know, it's certainly a controversial issue
Mm-hmm.
because somebody gets elected by the majority of their community. They're trusted by that community, and I don't feel that a human resource person or another elected official should be able to run right-shot over that and say, you can or can't do this.
Right.
And that, I think, is an issue.
That points out the
Yeah.
difference between municipality and elected positions. There's a little less accountability for employment. It's not a business.
It's not.
No.
And I-
It's not a private company business.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I feel as an elected person, excuse me, that we should be held to a higher accountability. So therefore,
I do too.
if we're going to require someone that we hire to bring in a note, then the elected official should bring in a note because we are no better. Just because you're a supervisor or elected, not.
I know, but you would ask, if we put it in the policy that we request it, then you, as the elected official or the boss, so to speak, and you say, and your person is always out all the time, and so the next time you're gonna say to that person, this time, before you come back, I'm gonna need a doctor's report, if you don't mind, you know, or a doctor's note or whatever. But who's to say you're going to abuse it or not? I wouldn't, I agree. I don't
Maybe
think
we oughta put-
a elected official has to answer to anybody.
Maybe
I was
it
there
ought to
once.
be put in there that instead of that if you start abusing your sick days or personal days or whatever you call them, you
You're
lose
not
them.
gonna get paid anyway. You know, I mean, you're not. And whether you're elected official or not, you know, you got a certain amount of time that you earn. You know, I think it's 12 a year, yeah, a day a month. So you've earned that, but if you used all 12 in 1 year,
Well, I think 3 days is an unreasonable amount of time anyway.
I do too.
I really think
I do.
3 days
I
is
think it
very
was an
unreasonable.
especially with the
oversight,
flu.
kind of an oversight.
I think it was because of something in the past.
I
I
do
do
too.
too. You know, like I said, we react to things that happen, and we, you know, every
how
single
policies get
select
going.
board does that.
Yep.
Because we're the ones dealing with that issue. But I think 3 days is an unreasonable amount of time.
Yep.
You know,
If
it was-
nothing else, I would think a couple of weeks if you were
Right.
sick.
Yes, I mean, especially with the flu. You don't get over that. Yeah, you don't get over that.
A broken leg, you could see the cast and you'd know.
Yeah.
Well, we will work on that,
I
and
was
we'll
gonna
have that
say.
discussion further when we start working on the employee handbook. And
I have something else. In the articles, there were a couple of typos and numbers mixed up, and also they were numbered wrong. So I need to ratify the corrections that were made
Okay.
to that.
So moved.
So, thank you. I'll second.
So,
It's been moved and seconded to
She
ratify the
seconded
corrections
you.
that were
Yep.
made to the articles. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Glad I didn't type them.
You do?
Well, she probably has them on the,
Are you still on new business?
Yes, we are.
I have some. If you would make a motion to rescind the closing of the cemeteries and reopen them, please.
For how long?
We have no snow, and I had calls from 2 funeral homes today, and they would like to bury people.
not from us, right?
Calls from,
From my family?
no.
Okay. Because I told
Well,
them
I don't
no.
know. I don't know who the families were. I had
I
calls
told them
from
no,
2 funeral homes.
that the things were closed. And so, I mean, I don't know.
How long would we close them for? If we get snow, do we, how long would we open it for? If we get snow, do we need to close them again?
You still have a frozen ground,
Doesn't
right?
matter, frozen ground's okay.
It is.
And Rodney was, it was on.
Oh, boy. So what should I do? Should I,
I did the same thing.
I don't know.
Well,
I
we
think
have
it's
to-
already locked down, leave it
Yes,
locked down. But
But
that's,
these families want to bury, so, and there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
snow there.
So if we did that, would
Or do you
be-
want to make just exception for these 2?
I don't mind doing that.
Well, then you could bury mine too.
The funerals will both be Friday.
Yeah, but I think her family and my family's already made the decision for springtime, kind of a thing. And then you come along with opening it up for somebody else. I don't know.
Well, we've always made exceptions.
I just think
Yes,
it's,
we have.
Yeah.
it's very difficult when someone you love dies and having to go through it a second
I
time.
know, second time is bad.
It's very difficult for families, you know, it's one thing, if we had snow on the ground, we wouldn't even be
Right.
discussing this.
Well, I'll
but-
call Smokey tonight
And tell them.
and see, and tell him, but
What if we were to make a motion to, since there's no snow, open the cemeteries until the next snowstorm, and then they would be closed?
yeah. Second.
No, it's fine.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to open the cemeteries until there is snow. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. And I'll call Smokey tonight and see if they want to do that. 'cause he's the-
You know, to me, it just helps the families to have closure, and if there was a reason to not be able to open, that'd be one thing, but.
Right, they wouldn't have, I mean, I don't think the funeral homes would have called if it wasn't,
Right,
you know.
We mean funeral homes wouldn't have called if what?
if there was snow on the ground. they'd
If there was snow on the
Right,
ground.
'cause
or
they
if it
know
was
it's
Because
closed.
of the families
Right.
not wanting to put it off, so.
And I don't blame them, and, you know, it's a grieving process you have to go through once, to have to go through it a second time is difficult for families.
Also, for a couple of years, we have done the Pinwheel Gardens. In April, April is the support to child abuse prevention month. And we spent $100 on 100 pinwheels. And I wondered if we could do that again this year. And in the past, we've had the preschool plant the garden out front, which is kind of special.
Second.
Okay. I made a motion.
It's been moved and seconded to.
Yeah, what she said. I second what she said.
To purchase 100.
Purchase 100 pinwheels at the cost of $100 for prevention week, month, prevention month. And thank you for doing that. Anything else?
All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No wonder why everybody was looking at me.
Is anybody interested in attending the town meeting tune-up on February 28th? I will be going up to it.
That's a Saturday, isn't it?
No, it's a Thursday?
No, it's a Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, what the heck is that about?
It's designed for moderators, select board members, town clerks, town managers, administrators, and all local officials who are interested in learning how to run town meeting.
So all local officials, so if you
No.
said, if you serve in any capacity, can you go?
Mhm.
If you're an elected official?
It's, we're passive members, so it's $60 for don't have to pay, but for anybody else, it's $60.
Include delinquent tax collectors?
It doesn't. But we just said that if you're an elected official, right?
Local official.
That's what I was
Local
asking.
official. You interested?
Yeah.
Also, local government day is the 20th.
Of March, February? Oh, that's the one in Montpelier.
This one used to come to sit with us.
It's amazing how quickly I've forgotten all of that, huh?
Obviously made a big impression on me.
So where's this held?
This is in Montpelier,
This is in Montpelier as well.
Capitol Plaza.
No, I'm not going.
Everything's in Montpelier.
Feeling well, everything is happening here to my life, I just can't.
Anything else? I don't have anything else either.
I move to adjourn.
It's second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. It's the earliest we've gotten out since we started the budget.
Yeah.